I expect it. I want it. I expect it. I want it. I believe it. I trust it. And then
And
when
let
the
go,
feeling right, yep,
let
that's
go.
right.
Yeah, not attach. And I let go and I'm not attached to when or how or, yeah.
That's right. And I also have a phrase that I love, feel it to reel it, and I'll feel it. A lot of people talk about thinking about their dogs before they get in the hot seat. I haven't tried that one yet, but you feel it because law of attraction, it's really about being a good magnet. We want to know we are a magnet. I know I'm a powerful magnet. I know I'm a magnet. I know that I have a back part that's like the magnet that can repel, and I want to keep that behind me. I don't want to put that repelling side of my magnet by thinking of, oh, it's not here yet. Oh, that wasn't me. Oh, this is taking a while. All those things that are just like pushing
hmm
two magnets together in the back.
Welcome to the Delicious Alignment Podcast, high vibing conversations with me, your host, Rhonda Ryder. This show covers all topics related to living a life you love through becoming a master of your emotions and vibrational frequency. Today, I welcome back Jill Hofer as part of my Beyond the Hot Seat Summer Series. She is a 3-time Abraham Hicks Hot Seater. Jill is also a writer, an entrepreneur, and a jewelry designer. In fact, she designed the Joy Key necklace that I wear all the time. I love my necklace. It reminds me that joy is indeed the key to everything. Jill is also a fire performer. That's definitely not something you hear every day. For 2 decades, she has been a fire dancer performing at Burning Man and other events all over the world. I first had Jill on my show on season 1 back in January 2022 when we focused on loving your body and making peace with food. The episode is called Eating in the Vortex with Jill Hofer. I'll put the link in the show notes in case you'd like to listen to that one as well. So today's episode is an in-depth conversation discussing Jill's insights from her 3 hot seats. We really covered a lot of ground here. I mean, between the last episode with Gina Mallison and this episode, I think we could literally put a book together that explains all the secrets of the universe. I'm not kidding. Okay, so make sure you listen to the end of this episode because Jill has a wonderful opportunity for you. I have a few very quick announcements before we jump in. First off, I want to remind you that I've got 2 wonderful guests coming up on Thursday, September 7th. Costa Trifonovic and Armand Alvarez. Costa channels Wiola, and I got to ask Wiola some mind-blowing questions, which I cannot wait to share with you. Next, I have 2 free resources for you. First is my Facebook group, Delicious Alignment. Feel free to join us. We would love to have you. And second is my free course, Love Your Body, Love Your Life, which includes over 20 videos and is based on the 5 steps in my book, Delicious Alignment, How 25 Women Learn to Love and Transform Their Bodies using Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction. Go to deliciousalignment.com/free course to get access. Again, all the links are in the show notes, as always. All right, so one last thing. For the month of August, I'm offering 60-minute coaching sessions with me for only $55 on any topic. Stress, relationships, parenting, body, food, etc. Money. These sessions are usually $125, and if you're interested, act fast as it is almost the end of August already. And email me at rhonda@delicious.alignment.com to book one of those. This opportunity is limited to one session, one $55 session per person, and is available to new and existing and past clients. If it's past August and you'd like to coach with me, you'll find more information about my packages at deliciousalignment.com/coaching. Great. Now let's get on with the show. Hello, Jill.
Hi, Rhonda.
Great to see you today and talk to you about your hot seat experiences. Just jump in and tell me whatever you'd like to share.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I love to spend time with you. And I've loved spending time looking at these hot seats. It's been a wonderful exercise to get back to each one of them, get my key takeaways that I wanted to share. There's so many gems and nuggets, and you know how it goes when you listen to Abraham and you go back and re-listen. It's almost, I've even heard Abraham say, "You're adding things, aren't you?" That people will say, "You've added to this, haven't you?" And Abraham will say, "No, it's not different, but you are."
You are.
So we're hearing it with different ears and seeing it with different eyes. And
Mm-hmm.
I've really appreciated this concept, and I really appreciate the opportunity to bring some of these great takeaways. I have been in the hot seat 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thing that I love to talk about with getting a hot seat experience is really how I feel I'm able to do this. I think that's getting in the hot seat is sort of, it's like a very on the nose example of what we're all learning and enjoying and loving about law of attraction in the first place. You know, it's a quite a metaphor for, you know, the standards of lining up your expectations with your beliefs, and where those intersect, that's where the magic happens. I sort of get my space movies a little mixed up. I can never remember if it's like Star Wars or Ghostbusters, or, you know, you cross those two beams of light and the power is multiplied exponentially.
Mm.
So in life and in the audience, it's all for me about lining up those, I expect it, I want it, I expect it, I want it, I believe it, I trust it. And then
And
when
let
the
go.
feeling right, yep,
Let
that's
go.
right.
Yeah. Not attached. And I let go and I'm not attached to when or how or yeah.
That's right. And I also have a phrase that I love: feel it to reel it. And I'll feel it. A lot of people talk about thinking about their dogs before they get in the hot seat. I haven't tried that one yet, but you know, you feel it, because law of attraction, it's really about being a good magnet. You know, we want to know we are a magnet. I know I'm a powerful magnet. I know I'm a magnet. I know that I have a back part that's like the magnet that can repel, and I want to keep that behind me. I don't want to put that repelling side of my magnet by thinking of, oh, it's not here yet. Oh, that wasn't me. Oh, this is taking a while. You know, all those things that are just like pushing
Mm-hmm.
two magnets together in the back. It's really, I love thinking about it. And
Yeah.
thinking about it in terms of the hot seat, there's just something really crystal about that. There's just something that really pulls it together with a lot of clarity. So I really have appreciated it. So if that sounds good to you, I can jump into maybe my first hot seat and how it happened, and then, you know, what I felt was so valuable from it. So my first great takeaway for getting in the hot seat, and AKA using this powerful law of like attracts like, you know, this quantum physics reality that what we emit, we get. You know, everything in the universe is energy. It's all vibration. And we're no different. We're not excluded from that, and neither are our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing this was a perfect basis. And then you've probably heard Abraham say how important it is when you see someone who has something you want. It's a very human thing here. We
Mm-hmm.
want to revel in that. We want to be like, oh, there's the proof. That's possible. That's universal. That abundance is out there. That luck, those experiences, if they can have it, oh, that's the best news I've heard all day because it means I can have it. Holding that concept is really a very hot seat kind of moment. And I didn't really know this until the first time I got in the hot seat. I kind of know it. Oh, I'm happy for them. They got in the hot seat. But the first time I got in the hot seat was in San Diego in 2019. And it was kind of on the heels of a summer Alaska cruise. In that summer Alaska cruise, I met a lot of new friends, a lot of wonderful people. And one of them his name is Patrick. And he's just a charming ball of energy. And Patrick kind of is who he is wherever you encounter him, like Thai
Mm-hmm.
food in Ketchikan, waiting in a line, and then getting in the hot seat. And it was his first cruise too. And I just watched him in Alaska and I thought, huh, that's the way to be. That's the way to live and that's the way to be. Cut to
Mm-hmm.
September. He's in San Diego because he's an LA guy. And there he goes, boom, right back up to the hot seat again. And I'm watching him and I'm having deja vu. And I'm like, just reveling in Patrick. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, God, I'm glad he's in the hot seat again. And dang, I'm glad that I know him and I've seen him do this before. And he's real right now. This is who he is. And my hair was just kind of blown back by it. So then my typical, my hands up as soon as he's gone, boom, Abraham pointing right at me. And I know that's why.
Because
I know
you were focusing on him, how easy it is to get on in the hot seat. You were
I
reveling in
loved it for
him.
him. I
Yeah, you loved it for
loved it for
him.
him.
Yeah.
And it was like when a movie goes into fast forward and you just fast forward and you're walking up to the chair yourself. And so if I have any great advice or takeaway or tip from hot seat number one, boy, that's it. Because there's a lot out there and we hear a lot about, gosh, don't compare yourself. People out there on social media, do you think you're getting to see when they stub their toe? You're not. You're getting to see when, lights, camera, action. And just
Yeah.
know that if anyone can do it, we can do it too.
Yeah.
My hot seat topic
Yeah,
on
if I
that.
could just
Sure.
just go back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, to the difference in my mind as you're speaking is seeing someone having something you want, and A, you can feel jealousy, or B, you can revel in it and use it as a permission slip to know that I can have that too. Yes. And I kind of self-admittedly still vacillate between the two
You admit
sometimes.
to being human.
Yes,
That's
I
good, you,
admit to
Rhonda.
being human. Yes, yes. And
Me
still, like,
too.
even yesterday, I was feeling a tinge of jealousy, and I thought, oh, remember, that is showing you a desire that you have. Because you feel jealousy, that means, oh, you do want some of this. You do want this. And so, how can I feel better about that, or use that, like I said, as a permission slip to know that they're modeling for me that it's, hey, it's here. It's good to not have any resistance about it. So it's okay if you have the jealousy, and then kind of raise your vibration about it when you can.
Yes. Glorious contrast. Beautiful
Mm,
expansion. Getting great at step 5.
yeah.
Don't take out step 1. You work it like you own it. And recently, you know me pretty well. You probably know I'm kind of a word lover. I love
Well, yes,
words,
we both share
tips and
that for
hacks. Yes,
sure.
true. Good point. And I was thinking that the other day, you can't spell jealousy. Sometimes I can't spell jealousy. So it was putting it in my mind. You can't spell it without kind of spelling lousy. you know?
Okay.
It's like easy to remember. We can
Uh-huh.
turn that around, and gel it into something that becomes a building block. And that's a really positive, helpful, frequent uplifter because that's contrast. A lot of times, it is the most direct route. You know what you want? Woo, 180. Woo, right over here. I know what I do want on the other end of
Yeah.
the stick.
Yes.
And then feeling that power, that like, oh yeah, contrast is my kindling. Contrast is gonna light my fire. And if I hadn't felt that, I'd just be traipsing through step 3 all the time, which feels great, but it's not the end all be all.
Yeah. And at the same time that I felt that jealousy, I also noticed how I reveled, as you say, in watching people, friends, doing all these amazing things. And then again, me going out and doing these amazing things. And
Yes.
it
And
doesn't have
defining
to,
amazing for ourselves.
yes. Like if someone's out there traveling all over the world and I am thinking, well, I'm going to downtown Asheville for a great dinner or brunch and manifesting free espresso martinis with a new friend. That's my amazing for right now.
Yep. And
And
it
that
was your
yeah.
choice.
Yes.
You wanted to be there. I had a friend recently, my best local LOA bestie, which is really handy, to have someone you can hold the law of attraction with. And she said, well, what would you be doing like people out there who are living their best life? What would you be doing without any restrictions or, caveats? And I thought, well, I guess I have to say I'm doing it because if I wanted to be on an airplane, I could pretty much do that.
Mhm.
And if I suffer from happy life syndrome, that keeps me from changing maybe my day to day as much as people I really admire. I'm like, whoa, where, Carmen Miranda, where is she now?
Right.
But I'm choosing. And I've got a couple of plane tickets. I have a couple of things. And I'll sink back in. I'll revel in the fact that it's possible. And I know that my choices, I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that because I that is a choice I am making. You're right, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize it so much until you said that.
Oh, that's nice.
It's to stay like I am enjoying being home right now and I feel an itch coming on like okay, it's time to go somewhere.
Good. Good. It's an itch, but it's not breaking your door down.
Right, like it's just
Yeah.
yeah, just starting to percolate and thinking
Ooh,
about
that's a
where
good metaphor. Our
yes.
coffee, our coffee
Yes.
dreams, right? How
Yes.
strong. Maybe filter some things that need to be filtered out, right?
Mm.
What do we add to it? Is it hot,
Yeah.
cold? It's ours
Yeah,
and we
light
love it.
roast
Yeah, right.
or medium.
With all the sweet
Yeah.
stuff on there.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like I'm
percolating.
I'm enjoying a summer of fun, but of course that leads to a year
Well,
of fun
one
and a
logical
life of
step.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes. That to me means that I'm going out more, saying yes to invitations more, or creating or being the instigator of those social things. Whereas before I might have said, no, I gotta do this or that. And I'm just like, yeah, the year or the summer of yes, leading to, I'm sure, the year of more yeses. Yeah.
That's awesome. I have actually with my most recent hot seat from December, Abraham launched into a rampage pretty fast. And I settled into that. And I didn't circle back. But when I walked up there, it was to ask about a practice I have of having a week of yes. And you just said a summer of yes. And I mean, it'll challenge you, it'll like stimulate the growth edges
Mm-hmm.
of your schedule, especially when you're like us and we're pretty darn happy in our easy world. But I line up with it. It helps me follow Abraham's hot seat specific teachings of trust. Watch the movie. We wrote the movie. Now it's time to watch it. I've had that told to me twice in the hot seat.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I kind of am extra reminded of thanks to you listening back. The trust, the letting go, the being easy on timing, the watching the movie despite the fun of having our hands in the clay. I imagine you and I both have that in common too. It's fun to write a movie. It's fun to sculpt. We're learning. It's also fun to sit back and watch the movie. And what helps me is to say, okay, universe, I'm going to take a week of yes. I might even test it with a day of yes. You send it to me and I'll know that something that doesn't make that much sense. I mean, if it's fun, that's all it needs to make sense. Say yes. But if it's like, I'll do it. And you know it. You know what happens beyond the fun. Little things lead to the next. A summer of yes, that
Mm-hmm.
could be a whole podcast. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And similarly on this topic, I was asking another channel about a week of yes. And they asked, well, what's your biggest yes? What's the biggest yes? And it was kind of fun to kind of go Hail Mary and then all the fun of working my way back to all the little yeses too. And from that conversation, I was led to my final point on this, which is we're talking a little bit about jealousy and about you could call it the fear of missing out, FOMO, fear
Yeah.
of missing out.
Right. Exactly.
That's a biggie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun launching pad for getting better at this. And so I shared in a group that I had heard the phrase JOMO, joy of missing out, which kind of relates to my happy life syndrome, right? My excuse for anything. I'm too happy to bother with that. And a wonderful new friend said, oh, Jill, first of all, she hadn't heard of FOMO or JOMO, which was cool.
Uh-huh.
And then she said, there is no mo. There is no missing out. There, she took the fear and the joy out of it. And that was fun to ponder.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah.
interesting to tie back to, Abraham saying, just trust, just let it go, just trust, which was really actually a common thread through all my hot seats.
Interesting. So I really love that. There is no missing out
No mo.
because what does the N stand for?
No, I
No,
guess it's just
no.
no,
Okay.
no missing out.
No missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There you go.
And then it's like no more too. It sounds like what it's saying.
Yeah, because you are you are experiencing life. It's your movie. It's your game. You are the creator. You creating in the moment.
Yeah, now more. That would be another
No,
little addition to
yeah,
that.
there is no missing
Right
out. I think
now.
that could really be useful to me personally and hopefully to people listening. There is no missing out. Like when you look at somebody else and they're doing all this stuff, it's like see if you could like just appreciate that they're experiencing that. What do I want to experience? It could be the
Yeah.
smallest little thing, it could be the biggest thing. So let me ask you, when was it Abraham that asked you what is your big yes, or the other channelers?
No, the other channel
The other
asked
channel?
me, what is your biggest yes? When
And what
I was up there with Abraham with that in my mind, and I can tell you, whatever your real question is, you can't really pretend to not ask it with Abraham because they will call you out. Some
right.
twice they've not made me say it out loud, and they're just like, and then they answer it while allowing me to keep my confidentiality.
Yes.
which is pretty glorious. But
Yes.
with the power of yes, the Abraham hot seat answer was all about, reveling in the now, and don't try to don't try to avoid step one. Get on it to step five and get on reveling in that. And they even pulled the adage out on me of, you know, when we first started doing this, we called it the science of deliberate creation. And people acted like you. They went crazy trying to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take that to heart because we've heard it a million times, but I know overthinking might be one of my strong suits. And so no mo, saying yes, watching the movie, and then seeking my bigger yeses. That what that has helped me in a different hot seat, that helps me with the topic of specific and general, which honestly, Rhonda, was the heart of my second hot seat. I got up there to ask how, kind of like, how specific, how can I be a better magnet? And again, they're with just chill, just chill. But they did offer the good input of general versus specific. We've heard it before. If it feels good, get specific. If you're kind of in the weeds, stay general. And it was a fun hot seat because I had said specificity, and they at one point said, "Oh, that's Esther's least favorite word to try to say. She usually thinks about it for a little bit and then changes it to specifics." But then they said, with specificity, it's a good way to ramp and get more and more up the scale. It's a good way to make progress, but staying general and taking little small steps are going to get you there as well, which was really important to me because the heart of my question was, sometimes I wonder about myself being not specific, and I'll doubt myself and think, am I kind of afraid to be specific? Am I lazy? Getting specific, because I'll tend to use affirmations like, thank you for everything that's already been given. Thank you for this or something better. And I was able to give both of those examples in the hot seat. And Abraham really loved both of them. In fact, one of them, they said, "Oh, you said it before we did. This or something better." That's got a good element of watching the movie in it. That's got a good element of no-mo in it, of know that it's all already in your vortex. And they were saying, believe in the vortex. Believe that when you ask, it has been given. What's with you, people? Just believe and know, and
Mm-hmm.
then sit back and enjoy. And I
Yeah.
think thanks to this podcast, I'm just going to have to put that on the refrigerator, because what I think I believe, I want to believe more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it grows. And just for the sake of anybody listening that is not familiar with these terms, let's just quickly explain specific and general. I'll start and then you can add anything.
Sure.
Going general means, like Jill gave an example, a simple mantra. For me, mine is like everything is always working out for me. I use that a lot if there's some contrast. Contrast means anything maybe where you have some resistance or it doesn't feel so good right now.
Unwanted.
Unwanted. Thank you. I go general. I say something like everything's always working out for me. You wanting to attract something into your life, allow something into your life. We can claim it. I want to attract a partner, let's say a romantic partner. I want him to be 6 foot and have brown hair and hazel eyes, and that's very specific. I want him to have a job on Wall Street. I mean, I'm making this
Sure.
stuff up.
Sure. Getting specific. Right.
Getting specific. Yes, I want him to make X amount of money and have an apartment in Manhattan. I guess this is some fantasy of mine. I'm going into that. I don't know. Going back to my young New York days. So you're getting very specific with what exactly you want. Now, as long as it feels good, go for it. Get as specific as you want. But if it starts to just feel like, ooh, I don't know. What
Less
if I don't?
possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Less possible, or you get some resistance or some icky feelings about it, or attachment. If you start to feel attached, like has to come to me in this way, in this package with this red bow on top, then yeah, go more general. So you're looking for what feels good, what feels better.
Good
Yeah.
one. That is you. I think you nailed it in a few ways, but that attachment part, because if we get too specific, and it's not just for the joy of amping our feelings up, because get specific. If it's churning your vortex and making your magnet start scanning for other things that are going to make you feel that way, great. But that attachment is going to remove the joy of surprise and delight. And that's where the movie comes in, because we better be ready for some fun, because it might land on our doorstep, literally, which would be fun, but it might be the next logical step. I call it the next logical miracle, the next pre-paving moment where the rubber is getting on the road, when we're actually on the pavement that we've pre-paved. And it's one turn of the tire at a time. And getting specific, it does close us off. It does kind of close us off.
Yeah.
Actually, would you like to hear a short sentence that Abraham said on this to me in the hot
Sure,
seat?
of course.
Okay. So it was all about what we're talking about here, being receptive and watching the movie, letting go, trust, specific, general, all this stuff. They can answer with a lightning bolt all these different topics. So they said, well, yes, an attitude of eager anticipation. That's just the best stance if you can maintain that. But here's a little clarification we could offer here. It's like this. There's a tendency to want to clarify or be specific when there's a problem. But you sort of don't want to do that, because clarifying while trying to fix a problem is activating resistance. You use the word specificity, which is the most difficult word that ever comes out of Esther's mouth. And then they say, but when you're wanting to get more and more specific about something, just be sure you're feeling great when you do it. So everything is fair game if we play by the rules, and the rules are based on that emotional scale, which is moving ourselves from feeling crummy, jealousy's right down there, lousy's down there, all the way up to things are pretty good. I think things are good. Things are working out, all the way up to love and joy and possibility. And, the place where it's like, yeah, he might work on Wall Street. He might have hazel eyes. That's fun to think about for a
Right.
second. And then it's like, boom, espresso martini comes.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I did that.
Yeah. And it was so funny that espresso martini on Sunday, that wasn't even on my radar. We were just having fun.
Surprise and delight.
Yeah, surprise and delight. And there it goes. And just to add the other part, not necessarily being specific when it doesn't feel good, to be specific. If it feels good to be specific, then be specific. And also not figuring out the how. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch the movie. You already wrote it. The how versus the now.
Good.
It's like, it's where it's at. The now is so critical to all this, to getting in the hot seat, to retaining, to using the principles of what we learn in every day. Yeah, it's really something. It's really lucky that we know this.
Yes. Yeah. And like the contrast, like you're talking about, my daughter, she's 26 and she lives with us right now. And I made a request. She wasn't happy about it. And she was basically not talking to me for a couple of days. I did not go specific. I went general for sure because
You're a genius.
if I went specific, I'm going to prepave her. She's happy with me now. She's not upset, all that codependent stuff.
Yes.
Instead, I just said, you know what? My alignment is the most important thing to me. And I don't have to take that on. Of course, this morning,
What a
finally,
concept.
I was in a place and I said, wait a minute. I said, I love you. And she said, I love you too. Okay, good. It was in the moment. It was in the moment. I was ready. It felt good to do that.
Perfect. That
Yeah.
makes my hair stand up. And you are going to make me talk a little bit more in depth about my first hot seat when I said they let us keep our confidentiality, because I can tell you they perfectly answered wonderfully. Beautiful. It was a long hot seat, my first one. And then they did what's in your craw? What's making
Mhm.
you ask
I think
this
I remember
anyway?
listening to that. You must
And
have
I was
shared
just
it
like,
somewhere. Yeah. What's really in your
right?
craw?
And then I'm just beaming it at Abraham, like, just answer it, just tell me. And they said, which I because it was about relationships
Mhm.
and it was about just what you're talking about. And I wrote down some of them. Actually, this is going on my fridge. That started out with the synchronicities and why I wanted to keep them going. But what they knew was that, why do you want to skip step one? What's going on under there? And they said, I have the words relationship advice here. I don't know that they actually got that on the nose with it, but it says that I needed to think about my bigger subconscious picture, like how you were with your daughter. Um, when I want to provide value, help you feel better,
Mhm.
fix everything, think
Mhm.
about why. And then they said, aren't you getting closer and closer to giving that up? And they said it like that. And they said, you know, you're gonna love this. I can't believe this is like so in line with this conversation. When they express dissatisfaction, you should say, I'm sorry you don't feel good, and I hope you work that out. And they even said, I'm rooting for you. And then they're like, maybe you better not say that part. But I'm rooting for you. It's like, I love you. I care about your outcome. I'm putting it as a good thing's going to happen. But guess what, baby? That is you. And
Yeah.
they even said they adore and appreciate me, because they're like, who are you trying to please? And I said, you, me, my inner being. And they're like, we adore and appreciate you, but you've got to start taking what's being given.
Mhm.
And they said, tune yourself. Don't do it for the mark on the chart or to fix something that's broken. Do it because I love myself like my inner being is loving me for the pleasure or benefit right here and right now. And that's why you said, I love you, because that was resonant with your inner being, and you're there and now.
Mm.
And you weren't in there with your hammer and nails. I'm too good at the hammer and nails.
Yeah.
I blame
Yeah.
myself.
Well, I mean, I did have moments of dipping into, oh, she's upset with me. She's not
What could I have
speaking
done
to
differently?
me. I can't live this way. I can't live with someone who's not talking to me.
I couldn't love anyone more.
I kept reminding myself, this is about my alignment and making myself feel as good as possible.
One of the best things I ever heard Abraham say was actually it was a YouTube hot seat that wasn't my own, but it changed my life. And it made me go full on into Abraham. And one of the hearts of that was just let everyone off the hook as often as
Mm-hmm.
you can and you need to, and include yourself in that list.
Mm-hmm.
And you had that element of time too, where God, parenting and making coffee, it's got to wait. It's got to do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing all this good stuff into the future and knowing it's going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
It's super impressive.
Yes. So tell us more.
Yeah, I can tell you that one thing I wanted to share from my most recent hot seat was actually something I learned at a different seminar, and it goes back to the topic of um, projecting and emitting and sending out that frequency, which of course is how we get in the hot seat, and of course it's how we get everything, chocolate espresso. Once I was at a seminar in Los Angeles, and by the end of the seminar, it had been all men, every
In the hot
single hot
seat?
seat. Yeah.
Every single,
And,
yeah.
men in the audience are like 6 to 1 women, at least,
Right.
probably. So Abraham sort of went like this and said, huh, has anyone else noticed that it's all been men so far? And the whole audience of women said, yes, that's why. They're like, that's why. Because you're all putting it out there. All men. Probably going to be another man. The last one was a man. And so Abraham said, okay, we're just going to pick a representative woman from the audience. And they picked this great gal who I actually thought was going to get in the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
So they picked her, and it was perfect. Then this last seminar I attended December in Phoenix was the same thing. Every hot seat was a guy, and it was deep into the last session. I can't remember if I was last. I remembered that, and I started projecting, I'm a representative woman.
Ah.
I represent women. I feel great about going up there and representing women. And it was kind of extra funny because the guy next to me was kind of a muscular dude. And when his arm went up, it pretty much was like this across me every time. And I just thought, boy, it feels good to know that I could be standing behind a wall and Abraham could see my light.
Ah.
It's not that. And
Mm.
I thought it really clearly, and boom, Abraham had to like point like this, and he jumped up and I jumped up, and then they pointed at me. And so anyway, I went up there and I said, I did that because I felt
Mm.
so good about it. And
Mm-hmm.
Abraham said, no, you didn't. They did. Like the women wanted a woman so much
Oh.
that without their projection,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, yeah, of course I did
Yeah.
it. But
Co-creation. Yeah.
yes, that's right. That's what I should have said. It reminded me that whole admit it to get it, admit it and we get it. We can put it out there and align our thoughts, desires, and feelings with our expectations. And with that hot seat, I was able to learn something new, to learn and reinforce that. And my question there was going to be about the week of yes, and if they thought that was a good tip or technique. They launched right into a really good rampage about getting your hands out of the clay, trusting, believing in the vortex, knowing that it's coming. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do this. I'm already good at it. Go forth and create kind of a message, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. And I love the phrase, it's already done. I've been listening to a new channeler, Communion of Light,
Nice name.
Frank Butterfield, I think his name is.
Huh.
I
I
don't know if
think I've
it's
heard of him, but I
Butterfield.
don't think I've watched him.
Yeah. And it's mostly audios. If you go to his website, communionoflight.com, they have sample audios of the channeling he's doing like every day. You can purchase the whole thing. I'm really getting it's already done, but getting that on a new level, that there is no future and it's all happening at the same time. And one of the mantras I've taken on is I am already a multimillionaire. He was saying it to someone else. It was good for them, not necessarily everyone else, to say I am already a billionaire. That felt like too far of a reach for me. I
Yeah, I don't
couldn't.
know if I want to be a billionaire.
Right. I don't have any desire to be a billionaire, so to speak.
Not
But
yet.
yeah, not yet.
It's
Um,
not my next logical miracle.
yeah,
Multi sounds
right.
good.
Multi-millionaire sounds very good to me. I can definitely line up with that. So it's like it's already done. I started saying that. It's already
Nice.
done. This guy is deep. Some of it's like really off the wall, but not really. Not really. It's like what I suspected all along. I suspected that, in quantum physics, when they said something, a tree doesn't appear until someone is there to observe it, right? So
Right.
it's like, Jill, you don't appear unless someone is observing you. Or my husband doesn't appear unless I'm observing him.
It's quantum physics.
Yes.
It's like that effect where those quirks, they change when we look at them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not philosophy.
Yeah. And he's also, yeah. And he's also saying your husband, for instance, you think he is the husband that you've been experiencing for the last 20, 30 years with these quirks or with this history. Meanwhile, you are experiencing for the first time today, like
Wow.
stuff that is to
Freedom,
me,
tabula rasa,
what is
clean
that?
slate. It's like
Yeah.
tabula rasa. It's like
Oh,
the slate is clean and we can start right now. And
yeah.
probably start by saying I love you, even no matter
Yeah.
where the yesterday was.
Yes.
Mantras and all, I appreciate you telling me about this channel. My first month of yes was born out of contrast because I actually wanted to go to a Wiola seminar it was a March. And when I couldn't, I thought, well, I'm just going to have to expand this far beyond. And I took on a month of devouring channels. I got in like 4 different hot seats. And I just sort of made it my personal retreat month.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness for contrast, And thank
Yeah.
goodness for all these channels and our ability to take from them. In fact, on the topic of mantras and overall channels, I like watching Theo. Theo is who met Esther in the late 80s in Phoenix and told her, hey, you and Tracy are channels. You and your daughter are channels. And here's, all that knowledge that Theo gave to Esther and Jerry, and that Abraham was going to come. And the mantra that I just learned on a Theo call, I think it was a Theo call, maybe it was Abraham,
Hard to keep
said,
track.
I know, it's the whole infinite intelligence thing. Like
Yeah.
it's very blendy. So the mantra they gave Esther before Abraham was, I, Esther Hicks, see and draw to me through divine love those beings who seek enlightenment through my process. The sharing will elevate us both now.
Mm.
So adaptable. So now mine has been, I see Jill Hofer, see and draw to me through divine love those beings who seek upliftment through my creative process. The making, wearing, giving, and appreciating will elevate us both and create a powerful, positive ripple now. We've all got it. We can
That,
all take that.
yeah, that's a writer downable. Yeah.
Right. That's a pin clicker. I hear you, pin
Yes.
click. And even when I say creative process, of course, I'm thinking about businesses and things that I do on a bigger picture. But just as well as I do, that creative process is like giving a great customer feedback or, you know, taking a soda to the mailman when it's 140 degrees out. Just little things that we do that, that's our fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Those positive thoughts and wanting them and sharing them, that's gas in the tank.
Yeah. And for me, it's just going down and giving a smile to my dad. My 86-year-old dad lives with us, and just going down and giving him a smile. That costs nothing, even
That's
to my
so
husband,
nice.
a smile to my husband, just let him know I'm good. We're good. You're good. you
That's
know,
right.
a smile is like, that's such a beautiful thing to give someone.
Yeah, it's free, it's easy, it benefits us
Mm-hmm.
even more than it does them. It's
Mm-hmm.
like ROI on the smile is off the
Mm.
chart, huh? We're
Yeah.
multimillionaires in that, aren't we?
Yeah. Yes. So, Jill, is there anything else that you feel like you want to share from your hot seats?
I I feel really great about the interview. I had my takeaways of how I got in. I had my takeaways of what to keep with me, and I wanted to have fun, and I definitely did that. I appreciate it. I look forward to watching all these.
Thank you. Great. And I want to ask you, what is lighting you up
Ooh.
today or lately?
Well, that's a great question. I've had a good year. I've had a purposefully big year. I'm making changes in one of my businesses to free up time. I have some rentals and I've really loved having them be furnished and short term. And it's like dollhouse, like here's a new
Mm-hmm.
doll and let's make this fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
very cool to ride the waves of how I can price things and test the marketing and whatnot. And then I thought to myself, I want more time.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm almost afraid to get that specific. Afraid probably isn't the right word, but I'm noticing, and that's been making me have an even bigger year. So I will not bore you with the details, but the forces that have come into play, and I'm like, that doesn't feel too good. That doesn't feel quite that abundant, but it has all led to me making changes. And now that whole business is going to be longer term. And I can feel it, that how that's going to shine my light on what I'm more interested in shining right now. And I can change it back anytime.
Right.
Um, is I'm transferring a nice world to a new platform, which has been really contemplative and interesting to see what of the law of attraction jewelry goes first, what I want to say, because my old site, God, I've had fun with that for like 20 years. So it's feeling like really pre-paving a nice world in a way that's super exciting. And it's got its growing pains, but I know I'll look back and think, remember when I didn't know how to optimize a photo for this page? Now I'm just rolling around in step 5 and building upon this. And that light is getting pretty bright and shiny. Thanks for asking. And travel is always high on my list. I've got Northern Lights for the solstice. I'm going to do a Kenyan safari with a friend for her bucket list. And I'm going to a fundraiser in Utah for a great piece of fundraising jewelry that I'm really, really excited about and really proud of. And
So
loving
the,
life with Brad,
yeah.
enjoying summer. We have our own, it's like a blizzard, but it's heat. So it helps you appreciate, indoors. We used to have winter in Ohio. So I've been liking that too.
Well, you did mention a nice world, a niceworld.com. And so I would love for you to tell everyone about what that is and what you're up to with that. Like, I have got my Joy's the Key necklace.
It's fun. It's my playground. It's almost like talking about getting in the hot seat. It's on the nose. You literally sculpt something that you have plans for and hopes and expectations to uplift with. Then you send it to casting and then you wait, oh, it's not taking too much time. Oh, it's perfect timing,
And this is the art of
raising
making
funds.
jewelry, the
Yeah.
art of making
Yeah.
inspirational jewelry.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
the Joy Key.
Yes.
That was inspired watching Abraham Hicks. Boom. I need to make a key that says joy. Boom. The teeth ended up being a little AH because I love to have secret messages in all my
It's a
jewelry.
secret, like an Easter egg, secret little
Yeah, exactly.
key that's
Yeah,
an A and a H. Yeah.
that's right. And then once I was on a cruise and met a lovely Persian lady who went crazy for the keys because of a Rumi poem that's about whispering in your ear and that it's the teeth of the key. I never would have learned that. That's surprise and
Mm.
delight. I'm just really excited about showcasing what I'll be showcasing and getting to the heart of why I do it and really focusing on that, uplifting organizations, making donations, being creative, connecting people,
Yes.
and
So
having fun.
all your links will be in the show notes. How to
Thank
connect
you
with
so
Jill.
much.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much. If anyone
Yes.
makes a connection and says anything about you, let's do
Anything
let's do
about
something fun.
Rhonda,
Yes,
writer,
like Rhonda sent me, even if I already know you
or Delicious
out there.
Alignment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we'll do a drawing or something fun, or everybody will get something. We'll do something fun.
Yeah. And also, you donate some of the Sarah books
Oh,
with
right,
every
right, right.
sale or something.
Yeah, most of my jewelry donates. I mean, I donate the jewelry to like galas and whatnot if it's a custom piece, or I donate 33 to 100% of the profit. Or in the case of something Abraham inspired, I buy for every sterling silver key, I buy a Sarah book. In fact, I have cases of them. I buy them by the case. And then when people order a key, I ask them for a little secret inscription and we hide it because I'm donating these to children's libraries and they check to see that the copy is clean. But I know it's okay that we can hide something in the margin and that kid's going to find that. And like you might have said, joy is the key. Or you might have said, everything really is working out for you, kid. And what a moment, these are real moments that we're putting out there that are really going to happen. So every Joy Key sends out a Sarah book and little kids are finding them in libraries all over. And that feels great. That feels
Yes.
nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So if you'd like to learn more about Jill's jewelry, go to aniceworld.com. Well, I want to thank you so much for being so nice and so informative and doing your homework and really looking at your past hot seats and seeing and reminiscing and then sharing with us what the insights were, what actual words Abraham said to you. So I really enjoyed this so much. Thank you so much, Jill.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Jill Hofer. If you would like to look at her Law of Attraction jewelry collection, which I highly recommend doing, go to aniceworld.com where you can view all her inspirational pieces. Aniceworld.com offers meaningful jewelry such as boomerang charms, infinity symbols, joy keys like the one I wear every single day and only take off when I go to the massage therapist. No joke. That's the truth. Nice jewelry, especially the law of attraction boomerangs, are shining, steady reminders that everything we send out to the universe is coming right back to us. If you see anything you like over there and want, make sure to use the coupon code DELICIOUSLOA, no space, DELICIOUSLOA, to get 11.11% off your order. And when you do, you will receive a lovely surprise gift from Jill. Also, make sure to subscribe to Jill's Nice News newsletter, also found at, you guessed it, aniceworld.com. If you enjoy this podcast and would like to support the show, here are a few ways you can do that. 1. Tell your friends about the deliciousalignment.com/podcast. 2. Share an episode on social media. 3. Sponsor an episode. You can contact me for more information about sponsorship. 4. Leave a review on Apple right on your phone. 5. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. And 6. Make a donation. The link for how to support the show via donation is in the show notes. And of course, continue to listen and let me know how this podcast is making a difference for you. Till next time, enjoy the deliciousness of your life.